Hey,
ladies.
Kim.
Hey,
Hey.
Queen, what's good with you?
Hey, it's been a while. I don't know if you remember me. It's been years, I think, since we last talked. But
Well, you here and I'm here, so talk
okay, I
to me.
don't know if you read my comment, but be serious. Are we really worried about this election, or is it all just we're screwed either way? Like,
Screwed?
I
Who?
mean, as far as the outcome, like people campaigning for Trump or campaigning for Harris, like, are we just doomed as a whole humanity either way? And it's all just a big old money game because now there's millions going to Kamala, millions going to Trump. But are we just screwed as a species? Like, seriously.
No, I mean that's a great question. That's a great question, and it would come down to your belief in God. If you're talking that type of apocalyptic extinction type subject, then do you believe in God?
Oh, yeah. And I
Well, if
believe
you
that,
believe,
and it's very confusing because I'm from San Francisco.
uh,
So naturally, I was raised very liberal, but I don't
mhm,
know that it was always the best thing. So, I mean, I was groomed, at 9 years old, I was at the gay pride parade,
right.
watching naked women on bicycles. So, like, I've always been this free love and everybody's accepted, but I'm like, perhaps I've been wrong this whole time.
Right. And if we were wrong, it's not we was wrong because it was our fault. We was wrong because we was taught wrong by somebody else that was probably taught wrong by somebody else that was probably taught wrong. So when are we going to stop the cycle and look and see, you know what I'm saying? Do we have the courage to change directions? Or if we see that it's wrong, do we have the courage to stand up and go against the grain now? So you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm confused. And they say the enemy is the author of confusion. I'm very confused. I'm gonna be honest. Very
So what
confused.
specifically are you confused about? Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, about where I stand truly, because first of all, I instinctually want to support Kamala Harris because I'm black and she is black, but then is she really black? You know, Whatever. But to me, she appears light skinned, but we just need to wet her hair to see how curly it gets. You know what I mean? So we could really get a barometer. If she keeps pressing her hair out, we don't know.
But is it about that surface thing, or is it about
Well, that's one thing. The
her
black
choices?
female,
Like
Zion.
I don't there's a such thing as black devils, there's brown devils, there's red devils. So
Okay,
you can
but I
you can
see,
pick.
I see Trump bold-faced lie in the like he be lying sometimes.
So what
So
president and vice president haven't been lying more than him? How do we start with him and start saying that somebody is lying starting with him?
you say that Bill Clinton was lying too? A
I don't
lot, probably. I know that that was like a small joke because of course, I mean that was the Monica Lewinsky guy. So yeah, I'm sure he was lying to his wife at some point. So what are we doing? What are we doing here?
You join on to your own kind. You join on to your own nation, right? So I'm a member for the last 34 years of the Nation of Islam, and that's not just because the word Islam it sounds like some religious stuff. It is not. That's just Islam just means submission to truth. Like when you hear truth, then you get in line with the truth. It's about data and information. It's not about beliefs because we not destroyed for the lack of beliefs. We destroy for the lack of knowledge. So if
Yeah.
a lot of people get together and they emotional and like your mama used to say, if they jump off the cliff, you gonna jump? Yeah, apparently, yeah, because we jumping and we've been jumping. But if somebody gives us the right knowledge, the right information, and a right example of how to live it, then we got an alternative. You know what I'm saying? You never heard like the Jewish community necessarily, but you never heard the Asian community like Chinatown. They don't worry about who the president is. You know why they don't worry about who the president is? Because they regulate their own communities. They
Right.
vote locally. They keep their own dollars within their own community. And if they go set up shop in our community, they bring the money back to their community. It don't matter who the president put it to them because they running their own show by being unified. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
what we've been doing in the nation. And that's what other, like the Hebrew Israelites and I think Moors, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's two or three examples of us doing it the right way. that we don't got to even worry about what the hell our former slave masters is going through.
Right. Okay. Because I'm just trying to decide, and not like you, the know all be all, but I know you have some strong opinions about stuff.
Well, it's not
I'm just trying to
even opinions.
or strong stances. Okay, like black or white, and it's like I just it's confusing. I'm gonna be honest because I know it looks like a lot of what some people might call pandering or whatever with the Megan the Stallion stuff and the twerking and the whatever. But then again, is that just good politics? She's trying to get the younger vote, so of course they're going to use somebody, and then they're going to say she slept her way to the top. But nobody had a problem when Lil Kim was talking about all the stuff she did,
Well, she wasn't
physically.
running for president.
Right.
Do you understand? The presidency means that they're going to rule you and rule your family and rule all of our people for the next 4 years based on their own desires, right? So you don't have to answer this, but are you a mom? Do you have
Yeah,
any children?
I got a daughter that I keep trying to tell her not to talk while I'm talking, but we don't.
So,
We're working on it.
do you have an ex-boyfriend?
Oh yeah, of course.
So you have an ex-boyfriend before, right?
Yeah.
And you're not with him no more for a reason, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right. So whatever his reason was, you could ask the question: was it worse? Did he do you worse than Biden and such did us? So why would I volunteer to then let him rule me? You know what I'm saying? And rule my family and go campaign to let him rule me. You know what I mean? When we clearly never did nothing for us, but I mean that's my child's father, so I'm just gonna vote for him because of that or because he black.
Mm.
If you're not getting back with him because he black, why would you do this or whatever, such and such because they black?
Okay, so let's take black off the plate. Now we got woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, and then let's take that off the plate. She's qualified, right? She's been the
Is she?
DA, I mean, she's done a lot of work in politics. She's already the vice president, so she's been in the office. I don't know exactly what she's been doing, but I've never done my research. So I guess it's up to me to do my research to see what she's
Exactly
actually done.
exactly because and I'm not supposed to be talking about this. I'm trying not to go into that, but how qualified was she to become the vice president? You know, are these people really qualified, or are they selected by somebody else? Are they selected and really not elected?
Which
Right.
leads
So
me
why
back
do
to the
we
point
even?
of stay out of it.
Yes. So
Stay
why
out.
are we even involved and emotionally involved in something we don't even understand? Because it's a whole crowd of people that got stirred up by somebody that controls the media. Somebody that
Mm.
controls the media got all, especially our women, emotionally riled up and stirred up into a frenzy, acting like they supposed to support somebody.
Mm. Yeah, I got to do my own research. And that's beyond Instagram scrolling, So I don't know
Yeah.
when the last time I ever looked at a news site. And then, and then just own it. If I don't care, I don't care. And whatever happens, happens. Let's see. This is one of my friends, Erica. The only difference with this election and why one should be worried is about the president is that one upholds violence in our lives may be more at risk with that person. All right.
Okay. So do you believe that? Without me going into details, one opposed violence, right?
Upholds violence.
Oh, that's what she's saying or somebody's saying.
Yeah.
So do you know what the annual abortion rate is for black women alone in America?
No.
500,000 a year, 500,000 per year, genocide numbers, right? So who should we be fearing doing violence to human beings? Should we think that abortion is not violence to the most innocent, helpless, holy, righteous human beings, which is the unborn babies in our sisters' own wombs? But then we're going to cry about some white man that's supposed to be upholding violence or police immunity. Like, who's doing us the worst, them or us?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a touchy one. That's a touchy.
Why is it touchy?
Well, no,
That's
I'm saying
that's facts. That's not touchy.
well, not it's not even touchy. I'm just saying, well, it's just people have different views on what exactly happens. You know
What
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 I
what
mean?
different views? Give me some details. What different
Okay,
views
some
are?
people believe that it's, you know, okay, some people have said that if the baby, is not past a certain amount of time, that it's not, if it wasn't viable to live at all, it's like the mother is a host and it's like taking the tumor out or something. And then they say that sometimes people have the procedure and then the baby gets the soul back on the next kid, or the soul goes to a different body and comes out through another person. You know what I mean? Just
So
like in a
so you said you believe in God, right?
right.
What do you think God's position is on that?
Oh, it's 444 on my time. Honestly, it's everything is very confusing because
No, that
if Jesus,
I didn't.
no,
I
for
didn't
me, I feel like
you,
okay,
so look, stop. So you didn't answer directly, right? And
I
now
didn't
you're
answer
saying what
directly because it's a lot to wrap my mind around.
it's not.
Because
It's a simple question. It's a simple answer, right? So so do you believe the God you believe in? Do you believe that he or she or it says it's okay for a woman to kill her unborn child in her womb? That's okay with the God.
ah, maybe
Is
not.
it okay with you?
Honestly, now that I have my daughter, I had her after I had my procedure
Mm-hmm.
before, and sometimes I do wonder that if I would have had Zion, this is not a conversation for you. In fact, let me go in the bathroom so she can't hear me. I love you, girl. Come here, baby. We'll get a house where we have our own separate rooms. I'm sorry, baby. Let me go in the bathroom. Right now, I'm renting a room with my sister in a very nice neighborhood, might I add, but she hears too much. But okay, let's talk about it. All right, so when I first had the abortion, I didn't want to have the kid because I didn't like the father, and the father was abusive. And I didn't want to be
Oh,
attached
can
to
I
him for
stop you? Can I
18
stop you?
years. Go ahead.
Can I stop you?
Uh-huh.
So you said you didn't want to have it because the father was abusive, but within 9 months you wasn't worried about his abuse because you was sexually active with him, right?
Right. It was like that final breakup sex where you're used to having sex with the person, so you do it again, and I just happened to get pregnant on that last, like, I'm gonna
So
call him because I'm used to him.
so
So,
you know that only the female can get pregnant, right? Which is you.
right. Yeah.
So
My point
you know
is that
every time that you do so every time that you did it, you could have got pregnant, right?
yeah.
So I'm trying to put the accountability on you for what you pregnancy can only happen to you through sex.
Right.
And you're not being RAPE'd, so you're choosing to have sex, and then you're choosing to accuse the person that you had sex with of being abusive.
Well, I don't think the two have anything to do with each other. But I'm saying my point was is that when I sometimes I wonder if I wouldn't have talked so much about my decision if maybe I prayed more instead of like asking so many people, I might have kept the kid. But because I had a lot of people saying, you know what, do what you have to do, it's your body, your rights. It's like I had too many different conversations. And now that I have my kid, this kid, is great, and it wasn't necessarily an ideal situation, and once again the father's not involved, so yeah, probably I am the common denominator on who I'm picking to sleep with, but that's my business. But that's why I said it's all very confusing because I was
What?
raised very liberal. So
So I understand that, but are you black conscious? Are you aware that we have been here as slaves for almost 470 years? Right. So what I'm saying, what I mean by that is it a blessing? Do you think somebody convinced you that it was a blessing now that technology allows you to kill your baby? Like we wasn't able to kill our babies through slavery, right? For 400 years, we didn't worry about how poor we were. We saw our children as a blessing. In the midst of all of this hell, we had some heaven, which was the love of a blessed child that we produced. We still was able to activate or use our God-given power to create life. So we didn't view it that way. But something happened to our sisters recently, within the last 50 or 60 years now, that they looking at children as a burden, or looking at it as a curse, or it's going to get in the way of their fun or their career or their money or something that they want to do, right? Like the black men never had that option or that delusion that America was this land of opportunity, that we can think that way, because we was the ones always being destroyed and always the target of this slave master. They try to get rid of us so they can have y'all as the booty, as the spoils, so they can gas the sisters up and make them think these kind of ways, like they're free and equal and do this and do that, when they know it's destroying the family structure.
Well, all I know is that I know that there's been some level of deception that I've accepted. So that's why I came and asked some of the questions. But I didn't know it was going to be turned on my personal lens. But I keep it real. So I don't mind talking about certain stuff. But, if I could go back, I can't go back. I did what I did. But I definitely know that there's some people who have multiple abortions and go on about their life like it was nothing. It was a very traumatic decision for me. And what happened after was very self damaging. You know what I mean? But I was so interested in getting famous that I thought a baby would get in the way of my fame, if we're going to be honest. And then I'm still not famous, and now I got a baby and I'm about to be 40. At the time, it was probably about 10 years ago. I would have had a 10-year-old too, or 11-year-old, 12 maybe. It was 2012, and now it's 2024, and I'm still a single mom, and I'm not famous, but I feel like my stuff's gonna pop.
But you are famous. You a star. You a creator of life. You're a mother. You actually have a human God that you produced. Even if you ain't with the child's father, you're already more than famous. You're already more than successful. But our sisters is taught that that's not success. That's a burden, or that's a, you know what I'm saying? That's the greatest thing that you could do in life. But you're supposed to do it through, through being a wife. But that don't always work out. But you already created a whole human life.
Oh, and she's the bomb.
I know she is. I'm just saying, who's teaching us? Who's teaching our girls that you shouldn't do that? Like the freedom of choice. That's all that's saying, is to make all our sisters feel like it's okay to kill their child. That's really, because you don't need no freedom if you just following nature. If you following nature and you having sex, you're gonna get pregnant, and we already know what that is. So she's trying to introduce, or people is trying to introduce alternative to make the masses of our sisters and girls and daughters feel like it's okay to delete, to depopulate the most innocent of human life in its most fragile stage. And that's why I asked, do you think God? No, we're deceived. I'm not putting it on you, because I just told you 500,000 each year, right? So it's not you. It's just you got the heart, and you solid enough to actually have a conversation. But you was deceived. You was deceived, and you was negatively influenced by masses of people around you, or your other females or dudes. The dude might have pressured you, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? You was deceived. So what we supposed to do once we get made aware, once we wake up, is we warn our daughters and nieces and little sisters and youth to not do that. Don't do that. Be more responsible. Don't have sex. Find something else to do. Use that energy, towards business or towards something else, because you got Megan Thee Stallion twerking. Okay, you selling sex, and then you selling the alternative to get rid of the child that you're gonna have because you're gonna have sex. But they're not talking about the disease part of the game. They're not talking about this pandemic of HIV and syphilis and herpes and all of that that's rampant. They're not saying nothing about that. It ain't no abortion for that. It's not no abortion for that. So why wouldn't we just teach our daughters? That's part of the warfare. And I'm not saying you. I salute you, and I thank you for even being that honest and, you know, let me talk my little talk, because I ain't no woman. You know what women feel. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? But I know the value of human life. So, you know, so it don't take a politician to, you know, I don't care how a million people could be saying, yeah, this is cool, this is cool. That ain't cool. Your own nature is telling you it ain't cool.
Wow. Maybe if the father stood up at that time, people wouldn't make that choice.
I mean, how can he stand up if y'all adults? You know, y'all, he didn't RAPE the woman. So if she chose to open her legs and do what she knows is supposed to be only reserved for marriage, and she chooses to do it for convenience or pleasure or recreation, how you gonna hold the male that you chose to do that with responsible when you knew you was the only one that can get pregnant and you knew y'all wasn't together like that? He didn't commit to you. Why should he step up if he wasn't your husband in the first place?
Wait, now, Cam, what you trying to make it seem like you waited until marriage to have sex the first time, Cam? Come on, let's not.
What are you talking about?
I'm
I
saying,
can't.
you saying
The
that you
male,
only meant for. So have you always been saved and holy and just this?
the male. Listen, you and your feelings. I told you actual factual principles. Can the male get pregnant?
No, so men can have sex before
Calm,
marriage, but women are supposed to be the one
calm
that.
down. Calm down. Look, listen. The men cannot have sex if the women don't give them none. The man cannot have sex unless the woman gives him sex, right? That's a. I, that don't take no long answer.
I mean, yeah, and outside of obvious other things, but yeah.
What's obvious other thing?
I'm talking about rape and stuff like that, but consensual sex, I guess, yeah.
So how often, you know, according to the 500,000 abortions per year, less than 1% of that 500,000 are of those pregnancies are the result of RAPE, incest, and life risk to the mother. So those three things combined don't even make up 1% of the 500,000 pregnancies or abortions, pardon me. So that's not even a factor. So we don't even need to introduce that. This is all women choosing to open their legs irresponsibly and then using abortion or whatever else as convenience. That's facts. That's not an opinion.
Right. Right.
So how do we blame the men when the men can't get you pregnant if you don't open your legs?
So they good to impregnate, but they don't hold any responsibility if they're not
Why would
married to them.
why would they hold a responsibility? You're not responsible. Why would I hold some responsibility if you're giving away free box? I'm not gonna take it.
So basically, he's saying that as a woman, the woman has the ultimate say, and whatever
Absolutely.
happens, happens.
Absolutely, especially if you know you gonna be saddled down with the burden. Your body gonna get stretched out. You gonna go through morning sickness and hormone changes. You gonna go through labor and delivery and screaming and all of that and epidurals by yourself probably. And then you gonna have to raise the child. You can't take a break or a vacation. You know, I mean, you could put it up for adoption, but whatever's gonna happen is still gonna wear and tear on your soul and your mind. So if you know all of this only happens to the woman, why wouldn't women be teaching their daughters and their little sisters and their girls to be abstinent or do something else other than sex? Why would they be promoting sex everywhere instead of doing the opposite?
Oh,
They the only one, they're gonna be the biggest victims of sex, right?
fair enough. Oh, wait.
I'm just saying.
I know.
We can't do nothing but what y'all let us do.
Mm, dang. Well, as I could put that in my pipe and smoke it, huh? Jeez.
I'm just saying, you know, but that's what, once we know better, then we do better, right? So
Yeah.
if nothing else, you got a daughter. You say you got a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just teaching your daughter based on these facts. And if you want to hear some more cold, hard facts about how males think, always get on the live with me. I teach my daughters way colder. I talk to them way colder than this because the niggas is cold. Like I'm gonna let you know, niggas is gonna do you like this. Niggas gonna do you like that. All because you chose and you thought, or you let this nigga, or you let your homegirl, like, I give it to them so cold and raw. So they used to me and hearing my voice and deep voice or whatever. They don't think that I'm bashing them because they haven't done it yet. So I whoop their ass with the scenarios before they do it. So once they do it, like, you know, I told you how niggas was.
Yeah.
Told you
And
how
I
you
and I
was gonna end up.
yeah. And I miss that. You know what I mean? Because obviously
Right.
it's a generational thing. I ain't know my dad. My mom didn't have no relationship with her dad, and so forth and so on. And now I got a little girl that hasn't met her father in person. So it's no.
But you got brothers like this that you can give, that you can soak the game from, and she can benefit. You can break the cycle. So that's why you even having these conversations, and you know, you mature enough and you ain't tripping, you ain't all in your feelings while I'm talking my rough talk. You know what I'm saying?
No, I've been through enough on these Instagram streets. I've built quite the thick skin with my honesty, because keeping it real can go wrong. You know what I mean? If you're too sensitive. So
Yeah.
I know who I'm dealing with. Like, I know how you are. That's why I asked you, you know, the original question, whether it was all bad either way. You know what I
It's
mean?
bad for America, but it's not bad for us. Like what you said, like if you realize, then you probably do. If you realize how blessed you are to have produced a little God, a little female God, and you sane enough to hold a conversation with me, that means that's wisdom. That's wisdom on top of wisdom, and you produced. A lot of these women, you know, they teaching them not to produce. You know what I'm saying? My wife, I've been with my wife 20 something years. She had abortion before, like, you know what I'm saying? So we all, you know, we all did what we did, but it's what do you do after? That determines your quality. What do we do after? How do we clean it up? How do we make sure that nobody else coming after us, you know, do the same mistakes or make the same errors? Because if we don't say nothing, we just as guilty because we want them to go through the pain we went through. Like, no, we're not supposed to want our children and our youth to make the same mistake. So we're supposed to be activists. Like, baby, you don't have to do that. No, don't do that. It's always a better way. It's always an alternative. If God let you get pregnant or whatever, if you're into God, then that means He's blessing you. He's making you a creator. So you're just gonna shift your life. You thought your life was chasing celebrity or singing or rapping or acting. No, your life is to raise a God. It's the best job in the universe. So
Yeah.
nah, you already wealthy, you already rich, you're already successful. It's just you gotta be able to focus on your success. Like, damn, I did this. Like, damn, okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that too, because if we're honest, right after I had my abortion, I got a singing instructor,
Mm,
and I rushed to get it because I wanted to learn how to sing.
mm,
And I have a supportive family who is my village, even though I don't have the dad there. My mother watches my daughter while I go to work. So, you know, I'm not a single mother doing it alone. I do have a, you know, village such
yeah.
as that.
I mean, you successful to me. You sound like a superhero to me.
All right. Well, I have to reframe myself
Yeah.
because in the bank account it's looking like poverty. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, that's
But
all of us. Welcome to the club. That's all of us. But you know what I'm
there you go.
saying?
All right, Cam. I ain't gonna take up too much more of your time. Thank you. And whenever I need a dose of reality, because I can hear it from you, and I know that you will have wisdom, and I know that I haven't been around a lot of men like you in person. So, and I don't think it's any accident that I was able to cam up with you because I left. You know, I got a short patience, so I think after like 1 minute of you not adding me, I moved on. But it still notified me that you would accept me into the room. But now I got all my friends coming in because somebody else's live must have ended. But it's an important conversation, and like I said, I didn't grow up with a father. I didn't have a lot of self-respect. So having sex was like a way that men would worship me almost. Like, I'm like, they love me, but they don't
Yeah.
love me. They like to have relations with me. So there was just never any boundaries. Like, I'm a wild one. Like,
Yeah.
wow. And so I have to decide. I got a little girl looking at me, so I don't bring any men around her. So having her has helped purify me, but I'm still wild if I'm away from her.
Yeah,
Very,
but
but
but you're honest. So if
very
you're
honest.
honest, you know, that's the key. Like just being honest and accountable. Just being honest and accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because wild is relative. I don't think you wilder than what I see going on out here now with these youngsters. They all the way out of control. You're under
Oh yeah, no,
control.
I'm not like sexy red wild. I'm
Yeah,
just like I can be impulsive. And then if you add the liquor, sometimes my inhibitions might go down.
yeah,
But since I'm at home a lot, I don't really drink hard liquor at home. But like last night I went out and ended up at
yeah,
the Denny's with a Cuban dude and a Puerto Rican, and my IG live was like, go home, get an Uber right now. But God knows what would have happened if there was no IG live witnesses saying, yo, get home, Sheila.
yeah.
Because I was already on that. Well, my pastor used to say the sin train take you further than where you want to go. So first is, what I mean, you be on the choo-choo train and end up,
Yeah.
cut up. And she could have lost her mom. You know what I mean? Trying to get out and be free. So I'm a free spirit. Maybe I need to put a price on my spirit or something.
Yeah.
Because the free spirit has been rough.
Right.
I don't know, man.
But you wise. It's the experience. It's like the prodigal son or the prodigal daughter. You know what I'm saying? If you've been out there and experiencing all that in the world, like you got a wealth of experience and wisdom that our youth, our girls, is dying for the lack of. It don't mean you got
Right.
to be holy. You ain't got to be super righteous and holy, but use your wiseness and just give them advice. And then if you got to do your weaknesses, like you said, just keep it away. Like if I got some addictions or some weaknesses, I'm gonna do them in private. I'm gonna hide them to the best of my ability
Yeah.
until I can clean them all the way up.
Yeah. I guess, I'm about to be 40, and I spent most of my 30s like
Yeah,
rough. You know what I
doing
mean?
your thing.
And now
Yeah,
I'm in the demographic where I'm listening to men talk about you lose your value after 35. So now I'm like, dang, I'm a single mom. I got a 7-year-old daughter. And now I'm not the it girl no more. I still look all right. You know what I mean? I clean up nicely. But I'm like, dang, I'm probably going to be alone it's going to be probably just me and my daughter. You know what I mean?
Now, I doubt that. Let me stop you. I'm a real dude. I'm a real man, and what men really look for is peace of mind. Yeah, if you go in the gym and make sure you start learning how to eat right and all of that, that's a plus. But a man wants like how quiet and calm you are. That's what men really want once they start getting older. You can have a little fine, little perky, little young girl, but she all over the place and she running her mouth and she too impulsive and all of that. A mature man wants a calm, relatively quiet, experienced woman that can hear conversation, that can handle conversation. So you handling conversation right now. You probably been through hell, so you like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm tired of the shit that I've been dealing with. So anything could be better than this. So that wisdom alone, and if you know how to put it in a feminine package, like you ain't gonna be alone. You ain't gonna be
Right.
alone. You have a quality dude.
I'm going to mess Sheila up, laugh out loud, spontaneous. Nah, y'all ain't got to mess me up. My people's, you know, it's like I be making a lot of professions. I know better. My actions don't always align with what I know.
Yeah.
And then I end up coming on here talking about, oops, I did it again. But
Confessional, getting your confessional on.
yeah, that's keeping it real with Sheila Riddell is a whole movement. But the point is to keep evolving by letting the truth
Yeah.
set me free. So instead of like hiding, I talk about the dirty laundry that a lot of people keep in their
That's dope.
closets forever.